Hi, I'm Jasmine. Right now, please quickly think of 3 curse words you hear most often, or the ones you blurt out when you're angry. Have you noticed something? Whether it's the words you just thought of, or the ones we hear every day, 90% of these words used to vent anger are targeted squarely at women. This is not a coincidence. This is what I call the gender filter, the most undetectable bias in our everyday language. Let's start with Taiwanese Hokkien. The most common expletives often center around insulting someone's mother. Think about it. When two men are arguing, why is it the mother who becomes the target of verbal violence? This reflects a deeply rooted traditional mindset. A man's honor is tied to the woman in his family. The ultimate weapon to attack a man, to completely destroy his ego, is to verbally violate the woman associated with him. Women are treated as mere extensions of male property. Next, let's look at Mandarin. We have terms like 绿茶婊 or 婊子. We use these specific words to strictly police women's morals and behaviors. But if a man exhibits the exact same behaviors, what do we call him? At worst, a 渣男, a term that carries almost zero sexual shame and sometimes even implies a twisted sense of charm. It is nearly impossible to find equivalent terms to judgment with the same level of malice and moral condemnation. And what about English? You might think Western cultures are more progressive, but even halfway across the globe, the most offensive slurs, like bitch or motherfucker, still revolve around motherhood and the degradation of feminine traits. Even when men insult other men by calling them a bitch, the underlying message is clear. You are weak because you are acting like a woman. This proves that patriarchal structures are not isolated to one society. They are a deeply embedded, cross-cultural phenomenon. At this point, you might think I've always been someone with a moral high ground who never swears. Actually, it's the exact opposite. In the past, I cursed more fiercely than anyone else. I didn't understand the underlying meanings. I just thought it made me look tough and felt incredibly satisfying. Until one day, I was scrolling through YouTube and came across some videos discussing feminism and the history of gendered language. The creators broke down how these everyday insults were historically designed to keep women subordinate. For the first time, I truly understood the gender cultural construction behind it all. Learning about the awful situations these words create for women, how they normalize verbal abuse and validate sexism in our society. I was jolted awake. Change happens in an instant. It's like putting on glasses for the first time and suddenly seeing the cracks in the walls around you. When you see through the power oppression hidden in these habitual words, you realize these aren't just bad words. They are weapons. When you realize exactly how much humiliation and exploitation these words inflict on women, how they reduce a woman's worth to her body and her obedience, there is no going back. You can't unsee it. Because, after knowing the truth behind all this, if you continue to recklessly hurl those words just to feel a fleeting sense of power, you are actively participating in the oppression of your own gender. You are truly betraying your own conscience. After this awakening, I looked back and asked myself, why did the past me, and so many kind people in our society, get used to these malicious words? The answer is that language creates a terrifying desensitization. When we treat words that humiliate women as natural tools to vent our emotions, or as meaningless filler words, our brains gradually get used to them and become numb. This numbness makes us completely lose our sensitivity to the violence behind the literal meaning. It makes us unconsciously tolerate and perpetuate this oppressive power structure. True gender equality cannot rely solely on legal amendments or corporate quotas. It must begin with every single word we blurt out every day. We don't need to become completely temperless saints, but the next time our emotions run high and we want to curse, can we consciously stop for just 1 second? Can we refuse to let women be the collateral damage of our emotional outbursts? Language shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts dictate our world. Tearing off the gender filter of profanity is our first step in reshaping the cultural power structure.